From the heart of Las Vegas, this is The Middle Ground, your destination for balanced conversations, real issues, and common sense solutions. Hosted by Tom Letizia, The Middle Ground starts now.
Good morning, Las Vegas, and welcome back to the Middle Ground radio show, live and direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're here on the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. That's right. We're actually broadcasting from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. Who could imagine, right? We're at the studios of Kemp Broadcasting here in Las Vegas, and we've got a good show for you today. Joining us this morning is a familiar friend of the show, and we're going to talk about her in just a second. But this Sunday, beginning this Sunday and continuing for the next 2 Sundays in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, they'll roll out a special section called the 2025 Judicial Performance Evaluation. Now, this is a deep dive into our judges and how they're doing on the bench. But here on the Middle Ground, you've had a front row seat to that conversation all year long. Week after week, we've opened the doors to our courts and given you the chance to meet the people who serve, decide, and guide some of the most important issues in our community, especially in our family courts. Some of our listeners know some of the judges personally, or at least recognize their names, and our goal has always been simple: shine a bright light on these critical offices and the men and women who hold them. So let's get started. Today, we're taking you even deeper into the heart of our family court. And joining us is Judge Kerri Maxey. She's our first guest this morning. She's of the family court. Judge Maxey has earned a reputation for being steady, compassionate, and deeply committed to fairness inside one of the most challenging courtrooms in Nevada. She came into this role from years of on-hand experience representing families, navigating tough custody battles, and advocating for children and vulnerable individuals. Today, we want to explore a different side of her work, her evolving approach to the bench, how family court has changed since she first joined us, and what she sees ahead for 2026 and beyond. Judge Maxey, always great to have you back here on the Middle Ground Show.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Russell. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure, and you were newly elected just this year, so we're going to ask you some questions because things change rapidly here in Clark County courts, and our population is exploding, even though a lot of us don't realize it. We're adding new people to this town every single day, which means that the courts feel it. They get backed up, and we get different kinds of cases because of different kinds of issues facing our community. So we're going to dig into some of these things as to how things have changed since you first came on the show and since you've been newly elected in this year, 2025. Russell Letizia, he's here in the studio. You want to kick it off with the first question for Judge Maxey?
Judge Maxey, since the last time you were on the show, what's the biggest way your perspective on family court has evolved?
Biggest perspective, I think I'm really shocked at the amount of attorney fees that the families have to pay. The litigants pay for divorces and custody. I didn't expect how a litigant will go bankrupt just litigating their case. I was really shocked with that.
So now we know there's a lot of self-represented litigants that come before you in the court. And I understand from what I've discussed with other judges, that number could be as high as 65 to 70%. But you're saying that a lot of the attorneys are charging too much, or the court costs, or the extended period that some of these cases go?
It's the extended period, the amount of litigation, the amount of pleadings that are filed. I'm really shocked at how costly it is to get a divorce.
Yeah.
It's quick here in Nevada, but it's costly.
Yeah, in many ways, right? It's funny because it's not funny, but it's interesting that when you mention the fact that people are going bankrupt going through this process, that's another reason why we need more judges and why we need to speed up this process. Because as you just told me, people are going bankrupt through this process. I never realized that. That's interesting. What cases or what types of cases tend to challenge you the most today? And has that changed since your early months on the bench?
I can tell you the case that challenges the other judges, and they don't like the cases, but I like those cases, are the custody cases. They are very challenging, but when you concentrate on the best interest of the child and just protecting that child and making sure that child has both parents in their life, I don't think the difficult, contentious custody cases are that bad. I prefer those. The challenging ones are when I watched attorneys for 2 hours argue over $87.13.
Yeah.
And all I could think of is how much did these litigants pay these attorneys
By the hour. Yeah.
To argue over that.
Yeah. And I have a lot of respect for a lot of our attorneys in the community. And again, they're doing their job and they're putting in their hours and they're being paid for what they do. But the court process is a very slow, intimidating process. And it does take time, and it does take hours and hours and hours to hear a case and to get it through the system. Was there a moment, now again, you've been on the bench we're in our, 12th month now. You were first elected last year, and you actually took the bench in January, right? So now you're basically almost a year in. Was there a moment on the bench that reaffirmed why you chose this area of law? When
I was able to basically have two self-represented litigants in front of me, and I could tell that they were just litigating their hurt feelings. And I talked to them during the trial. We didn't even really have the trial. I just sat and listened to them, and they aired out their feelings, and then the next thing I know, they were resolving the case themselves.
Wow.
They just needed that time to say how they felt.
That's what you would call a success.
Yes.
That's because that's what it's all about. It's all about resolving a matter with a happy ending, so to speak. Just to come out of there with a resolution, and that's all everybody wants in the first place. They want some kind of a resolution, one way or the other. How would you describe, and I know this happens every day in your life as a judge, how would you describe the emotional resilience required to do this job well, and how has yours strengthened over time?
This being a domestic judge, you're seeing people at their worst, good people at their worst, and you just have to be positive. And all I can think of is there was a point in time where you guys were the parents or the litigants were getting along.
Yeah.
And when I see litigants actually reunite, they start the divorce process and then they reunite, that is the best. That's really just touches my heart.
I haven't heard that before. I hear about a lot of the tension that's in the courtroom and a lot of the anger and, the hard feelings that one had towards another. But I didn't hear this before. This is a good part of the process. Another good part is the adoptions. Everybody, that's a happy day.
Yes.
There are some happy days in family court, and we just talked about a couple of them. Russell, Letitia, I want to cover a little bit about Judge Maxey's courtroom management style. You want to lead that one with the first question?
Judge Maxey, how has your approach to keeping hearings efficient and focused evolved?
First of all, everybody takes a turn. You don't interrupt each other. And I always remind the litigants that a lesson we all learned as children, you take turns.
Yeah.
And I always make sure that the litigants talk to me and not at each other. And so that gets everything moving smoothly. When you take turns, everybody gets to have a say, and they know they're going to have their turn to respond. Then the court process goes smoother.
Yeah. I mean, it's just about being polite and being professional and controlling yourself. A good friend of mine and a lot of people in the legal community mourned the death of Dennis Prince, one of our prominent attorneys here in Las Vegas, and that was a situation that escalated in a deposition in his offices, and he was shot and killed. And that was a very tense situation at the highest level. What tools or strategies help you de-escalate high conflict situations effectively?
First of all, you got to lead by example. If you treat the attorneys and the litigants with respect and kindness, you'll actually see them treating each other with respect and kindness. When it starts getting contentious, the best thing to do is just say no. They stop.
Yeah.
What do you mean no? And then I'm like, no, we're not going to talk to each other this way. So that's been the best way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of common sense, really, when like anything in life, especially in the courtroom, because, and I know a lot of judges have come in here and said, a lot of people are in the courtroom on the worst day of their life. And, and that's interesting. When you think about that and you put it into context, they're before you and they want you to make a decision as a judge, and they're facing one of their worst experiences ever. I mean, it's got to be all-encompassing in one's mind to be going through something like this, to be going through a divorce, or to be going through a child custody case. And they're looking to you as a judge as a voice of reason. And you've sure shown a steady hand in your time on the bench. And I knew that about you. I knew you as a person before you became a judge. I knew what kind of person you were, and you're proving everybody right that voted for you and that elected you as a judge in 2024.
Yes.
Right, now we're in 2025, and you're going to run again in 2026.
Yes.
Have you implemented any changes in your courtroom since our last interview that you're particularly proud of?
I started handing out Be Kind bracelets, actually. I had two attorneys that were so contentious with each other. I brought them up to the bench, and I both gave them a Be Kind bracelet. And the next thing I knew, they calmed down.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see that. When adoptions, I give the whole family adoption bracelets that says adoption in the year. So it's just really just giving them, making sure kindness is in the courtroom.
Councilwoman Frances Allen Polanski has a term. She calls it random acts of kindness. And that kind of stuck with me because they're just little random acts of being kind and being, it kind of just change the mood a little bit, And that's what you got to do sometimes. Cases and patterns you're noticing. Russell, you want to kick that off?
Judge Maxey, are custody trends shifting? For example, more co-parenting versus sole custody requests?
No, I think everybody goes in there asking for primary or sole custody because they don't want to pay child support. However, Nevada law, it's a presumption for joint legal custody and a preference for joint physical custody. And when you explain that to the litigants, that it's a high burden to try to rebut that presumption, and that no matter what, this is your child. You're going to pay child support.
Yeah.
You can't get out of it.
Yeah. I talked to one of your colleagues, Judge Heidi Omasi, on the show a while back, and she's now entering into her 6th year of a 6-year term. She was elected in 2020, and I asked her this question, and I want to ask you the question. Now, again, you only have a year serving on the bench, but she told me she's seeing a lot more mental health-related issues since she first took the bench in 2020. Are you seeing more during your first year here serving on the bench?
As on a year, I would have to say I've seen a couple of mental health cases where I knew that there was just something wrong. I've seen, but I wouldn't say in domestics it's that much. I think the mental health cases are more in the delinquency and dependency cases, more for the dependency for sure,
right,
with the parents than with custody.
Yeah, because we're dealing with a crisis here in our community right now with issues of mental health. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. A lot of it comes from the drug usage, alcoholism, a lot of factors that are contributing to this. But we're seeing a lot more of it in our courts as well. Russell, I want to talk a little bit about community and prevention. And I know you had a question you wanted to ask the judge about that.
Judge, what are the early warning signs you wish parents recognized before disputes escalate in court?
I'm sorry, can you clarify that question for me? Like, what kind of disputes are you talking about?
When you see a case escalate in court, are there any warning signs that say, hey, wait a minute, this is going in the wrong direction?
I think it's the amount of pleadings that would be filed. Mm-hmm. If you have one person that keeps filing the same argument over and over and over, you just know that litigant is not going to ever accept the court's decision.
Right.
You also have to figure out if the parents, a lot of times, they can't co-parent. Mm-hmm. So, okay, you can't co-parent, that's fine. Now you're going to parallel parent then.
Right.
And you have to start creating orders that show the parents when the child is in your custody, that's your time and you're going to be in charge. Uh-huh. And you can't say what the other parent is going to do when that child is in their custody. So,
right.
Do orders for parallel parenting.
How do you stay grounded after a difficult case? I mean, you're dealing with this high tension in a courtroom, and you've got to kind of moderate yourself at a kind of an even level. You can't get too high, you can't get too low, you can't get angry. How do you manage your own emotions?
Your emotions shouldn't be on the bench,
right?
So,
but some people do. Some people get emotional. They get caught up in everything.
The only time I ever have any emotions is when the litigants interrupt me.
Yeah.
Other than that, your emotions shouldn't be on the bench. And I just try to empathize with the litigants and try to calm their emotions down. Mm-hmm. So if I'm calm, then they will be calm.
What keeps you optimistic? I mean, this is a field where you often see families at their lowest moments. What keeps you? Because you are always smiling. You always come. Whenever I see you, you just seem so calm and you seem so normal. But you're dealing with tough situations. How do you stay grounded?
I just, again, stay always positive. Always think of positive energy. And even in the most toughest cases where the divorces are so contentious, I just think in myself, maybe Peaches and Herb reunited will happen in front of me. I just have that hope and energy that everything will be okay.
Everything will just turn out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you see as new challenges as we look ahead at, say, the next 5 years in our family court? Because we're gonna get more cases. We're gonna have more population. You're gonna be dealing with less time to deal with every case. What do you see ahead of us here?
I hope we would create more mitigation programs for mm-hmm. the litigants. Mm-hmm. If we can keep them out of the courtroom, it would decrease their attorney costs. It would decrease the contention and create just some kind of, like I said at the last show, a diversion. So if we can keep the litigants out of the courtroom, it would just be a lot better.
Yeah, just try to get these things resolved
before
you come into the court and go through that process,
yes.
which is a last resort, by the way.
It should be.
What's one message that you hope families hearing this show today will take away?
A divorce is not the end of the world. It's just a change.
Okay, I like that. Andy, you got some lightning round music we can play here for Judge Maxey, and I'll hit her with some tough fast questions, but it's fast, fun, and revealing. Okay, ready to go?
Yes.
You've done this before.
Yes.
Okay, one word that describes your courtroom style.
Chill.
Biggest misconception about family court.
That it's not fun. It can be fun.
Hardest type of case, custody or domestic violence?
Domestic violence.
Paper files or digital all the way?
Oh, paper. It's so bad.
You don't like paper?
I do. Paper. That's what I would choose.
Oh, you take paper over digital.
I create my own paper files.
I bet you actually even read the newspaper versus looking at the digital version,
I
right?
do. I like the newspaper.
Yeah, you're from old school. You're
Yes.
like me. Most rewarding part of the job?
Again, adoptions.
First thing you do after a long trial?
Ooh, dance. Go in my office, listen to some music, and start dancing.
Good for you. Favorite way to decompress would be to dance, right?
Yes.
One thing you wish everyone knew before entering a family court?
Be prepared.
Yep. Your theme word for 2026?
Be kind.
Isn't that simple enough? I mean, just be kind to others. Judge Maxey, always great to have you on the show with us. Your perspective, your compassion, and your candor bring clarity to an area of law that affects so many families in Southern Nevada. We appreciate your service, and we thank you for joining us here on the Middle Ground.
Thank you.
Judge Kerri Maxey, family court judge, our guest. We're going to stay with family court this morning, and then we're going to talk next to Nadin Cutter. She's also a family court judge. She's next on the Middle Ground. Stay with us.
So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle.
The biggest sports report is brought to you by
UNLV.
Tickets.
We Get You There.
The Mountain West Championship is on the line tonight as UNLV and Boise State square up for the third straight year. The Broncos have won the last two titles. Kickoff set for 5 o'clock tonight on the blue turf in Boise. UNLV is a 5.5-point underdog. League recognition for a Las Vegas Raider. For the third time in his career, Max Crosby's been nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. The Pro Bowl defensive end has given a lot to the community through the Max Crosby Foundation, benefiting underserved schools. The recipient of what's considered the NFL's most prestigious award will be announced on February 5th. Meanwhile, the Raiders host the Denver Broncos on Sunday. We'll find out who will be playing in the Las Vegas Bowl on Sunday. It'll be a Big Ten school versus the Pac-12. 15th-ranked Utah is expected to be there, possibly going up against Illinois. The Las Vegas Bowl will be held at Allegiant Stadium on New Year's Eve.
The biggest sports report is brought to you by
UNLV.
Tickets.
We Get You There.
Boomer's Sportsbook is bringing the action this football season. Score up to $250 in bonus bets with your first deposit at bet minus 105 on all pro football spreads for every regular season game. Plus, with Boomer's Rewards, every wager earns points that turn into free bets at the end of the month. Download the Boomer's app, then head to Ellis Island Casino or Casino Valverde to activate your account. Boomer's Sportsbook, where Nevada plays to win. Learn more at betwithboomer.com. Must be 21 and older. Terms and conditions apply. Bet responsibly.
Attorneys Bradley Schrager and Daniel Bravo of the law firm Bravo Schrager LLP provide the highest standard of work on Nevada appeals. Bravo Schrager lawyers have long experience in the appellate process. They've argued dozens of appeals and writs in the Nevada Supreme Court and Court of Appeals over many years, and they produce clear, compelling, and persuasive legal briefs in support of your case. Bravo Schrager LLP knows the complex appeal process in Nevada inside and out. If your case is going on appeal, contact Bravo Schrager LLP at 702-996-1724 or visit bravoschrager.com. Bravo Schrager LLP knows the complex appeal process in Nevada inside and out. If your case is going on appeal, contact Bravo Schrager LLP at 702-996-1724 or visit bravoschrager.com. Attorneys Bradley Schrager and Daniel Bravo of the law firm Bravo Schrager LLP provide the highest standard of work on Nevada appeals. Bravo Schrager LLP, your Nevada law firm for appeals.
Looking to buy or sell luxury real estate in Las Vegas? Trust Chip Madsen, a top producing realtor with over 18 years of experience in the luxury home and commercial property markets. Known for his honesty, hard work, and success, Chip has built strong client relationships through attention to detail. As a Las Vegas resident since 1997, he understands the local market inside and out. Whether it's residential, industrial, land, office space, or retail, Chip has a proven record of handling it all. Partner with Chip at Is Luxury, the #1 luxury real estate team in the Las Vegas Valley, and experience unparalleled service. Contact Chip today at 702-420-3332 or visit isluxury.com/Chip Madsen to start your real estate journey. Trust Chip Madsen, 702-420-3332 or visit isluxury.com/Chip Madsen to start your real estate journey.
Ready to transform your body, boost your energy, and feel your best? Welcome to OC Body Fit at Tivoli Village. We offer personalized training for all ages and fitness levels, perfect for beginners, injury recovery, or pushing toward your next big goal. Our expert trainers focus on you with customized plans and proper techniques. Enjoy small group classes that bring the motivation of a community with the personal attention you need. Don't wait. Start your journey to a stronger, healthier you today. Call or text 702-978-8263 to book your free consultation now. OC Body Fit, your ultimate fitness destination.
She's not just redefining aging, she's rewriting the rules of what's possible. Marla Letitia has redefined aging by creating the Long Life Era brand. And now, she's here to show your audience how to shatter expectations, ignite purpose, and take command of their next life level. With powerful insights on longevity, movement, mindset, and connection across 5 generations, Marla transforms rooms. Book her now at speakermarla.com and bring the fire to your next event.
You're not done. You're just getting started.
Good morning, Las Vegas, and welcome to our second half of the show this morning, the Middle Ground Radio Show, here on 670 AM KMZQ. This is Tom Letitia, and as we move into our second half of today's show, we continue our focus on the judges shaping the future of Nevada's families. Our next guest brings a unique background, a wealth of experience, and a commitment to resolving conflict with fairness and compassion. We're excited to welcome her to the studio right now, Nadin Cutter. Nadin Cutter has been with us a long time. She's recognized as one of Nevada's most thoughtful and prepared jurists, known for her strong command of the law and her deep commitment to the well-being of children and families. Before joining the bench, she built a respected legal career balancing complex family litigation with hands-on service to the community. On the bench, she brings fairness, clarity, and a calm, steady presence. Judge Cutter, welcome to the show. Pleasure having you.
What an amazing introduction. Thank you, Mr. Letitia and Russell Letitia. It's wonderful to see everybody, and what a great studio this is as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and it is a great studio, and this is Kemp Broadcasting. It's owned by a guy named Will Kemp, who is a respected legal mind in our community. Will Kemp is one of the finest attorneys in Las Vegas, and he got into the radio business, and lo and behold, he hired us to come in here and do a radio show for a year, and we're having a good time doing it, and we get to meet and talk with people like you. It's a pleasure.
You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you, and we're having a good time, and Russell Letitia, I got my son here with us. He's here every day. He hasn't missed a show. Every single day, rain and shine, he's here with us. Russell, you want to kick it off with a question for Nadin Cutter?
Judge Cutter, you were born in Vienna, Austria, and have lived in Las Vegas since 1987. How has that international background and deep Vegas upbringing shaped the way you serve on the bench today?
Thank you for that question, Russell. I consider myself part of the old Vegas crowd for certain, because I've been in Las Vegas since the 80s, and Vegas was a different place in the 80s and the 90s than it is today. And it's a tight-knit community, Old Vegas. But as far as being born in Europe, in Austria specifically, German was my first language, and I have an amazing appreciation for other cultures. I love learning how to say, thank you in all different languages. When people come to my courtroom, I try very hard to pronounce all of their names correctly, no matter how complicated they may be. And I try to sometimes say thank you in the courtroom as well in all the different languages. So I'll be saying "sheshe" for Chinese. I'll be saying "arigato" for Japanese. I'll be saying "danke" for German, "gracias" for Spanish, "grazie" for Italian. Whatever I can squeeze in to make people more comfortable and show appreciation for the cultures. I really enjoy doing that.
You mentioned that you're from the old Vegas crowd. What does that mean to you, and how does that history influence your connection to this community?
It is a tighter community where everyone knew each other. Everyone knew what was going on with one another. And it was a group of folks that always helped each other and helped the community sort of grow. Uh-huh. And it's why Vegas developed into such a big city, really.
Yeah.
Old Vegas shaped the Vegas that we have today.
Yeah. I mean, and you've been here a long time, and you've watched the town grow, and it is a diverse community now, much more diverse than it was when I first moved here. I came here in 1971. We were 200,000 people. Now we're 2.5 million in Clark County. We've gone up 10 times. My wife, Marla, came here in, what was it? I don't want to give the year here because it may reveal her age. But when she came to town, there were 25,000 people.
Wow.
So from 25 to 2.5 million, I think that's 100 times larger.
What a difference.
Totally. You've joked that sometimes you speak German and Spanish with an accent. Do you find that being lighthearted about language helps put people at ease in tense situations?
1,000%.
Yeah.
And just taking a moment and appreciating someone's culture makes them sit back and go, oh, wow. And I enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
And court isn't about me at all. Court is about the parents that are sitting in front of me.
Right.
And I tell them that all the time. Mm-hmm. I have a little speech I do. I go, I'm not an important piece here. I'm a very temporary visitor. Your lawyers sitting next to you aren't as important. You, mom and dad, are the most important people in this room.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be there forever. And when I say that, people look up at me like, did she just say that?
Yeah.
And I mean it.
Yeah.
And then that sort of gets the discussion into more of a settlement-oriented discussion a lot of the time because they calm down.
Yeah.
They calm down a lot. And appreciating their cultures, I think, helps a ton.
I would have to believe that it does. I mean, that's very rare among judges to be able to speak several different languages. And it just seems to build trust with the families who come before you. And I think that's something that they want to see because when they come into that courtroom, they're pretty tense. And all of a sudden, you just bring that level down by being able to give them that warm greeting in their language, in their foreign language in many cases.
Absolutely.
You love learning new words in other languages. How does that curiosity translate into how you approach people with different backgrounds in your courtroom?
It's funny. This goes back to how I was when I was maybe 19 years old. I had a little job at Starbucks, mm-hmm. and I had a very diverse group of folks come see me at Starbucks. And I had those cups, those white and green cups, mm-hmm. and I asked people, do you speak any other languages? And if so, what are they? And I would ask them how to say, at that time, I asked them how to say love you in their language. Mm-hmm. And I would write it down on these cups. I ended up having like 4 cups with very small print Sharpie marker written all the way around them how to say love you in all these different languages. It was dozens.
Uh-huh.
It was fascinating. So, I think learning from people and their cultures and speaking how they speak is just an important part of who I am.
How did you learn this? How did you learn how to speak all these languages?
Being born in Austria, over in Europe, people speak multiple languages mm-hmm. As children. It's just what you do.
Yeah.
And so I grew up speaking German, mm-hmm. then I learned English, and then at the age of 4, I started speaking Spanish. Mm-hmm. And so those were my 3 core languages my whole life, and they still are. Mm-hmm. And then I just I weave in more and more the older I get because I like it.
Yeah.
If you like something, you want to do it, and I like languages.
That's wonderful. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your judicial performance and case resolutions. You've settled 100% of your cases over the last 2+ years. An extraordinary statistic, by the way. What's your approach to resolving cases so efficiently and effectively?
This is a solemn story, and I want to take us back to April of 2024 or 2023. I forget now. Maybe 2023. The deaths of Dennis and Ashley Prince and Joe Houston.
A friend of mine.
When that happened, sitting on the bench as a judge, I knew I could build a better mousetrap. I didn't know how, but I was so struck and, devastated by what happened. I thought to myself, if anybody can do it, a judge can figure out a way to do it. And so it took me about a week of just sitting with, the logistics of family court, how stressful it is for the litigants, how toxic some cases are. And I decided that I could make a difference, and I did. And we started to do de-escalation practices. And those de-escalation practices resulted in something that Judge Ritchie sort of taught me how to do. And it was more case management focused, where you come into court and you tell the court exactly what you're looking for, why you're looking for it. Then the other side tells you what they're looking for, why they're looking for it. And we start to make a list of things they agree on, things they don't agree on. And then they come back, they do a little bit of discovery, they figure out some of the documents that they need, and maybe they've whittled down their things. But what I end up doing, I explain to folks how hard trial is, what's required for trial, how stressful trial is, and their list all of a sudden becomes shorter and shorter as to what they need to resolve. And so frequently they resolve all of their case before trial. It's an amazing effect that we've had by just changing the conversation. But back to the statistic. The statistic isn't about my existing open caseload. The statistic is about an amazing service that all of our judges provide to the community. And here's what it is. It's called the Sitting Judge Settlement Program. And we hand out at least one, sometimes two settlement conferences per month to all of the other departments. So their litigants can have one of us that's, not the trial judge, a different judge, the settlement judge. That would be me for that statistic, to settle their case. And for, 2+ years, I've settled 100% of the cases. There's been some instances where folks were in trial on the same floor as me, and they stopped trial, and the trial judge came and found me, and they go, "This is weird, Judge Ketter, but they want to talk to you." And I go, "What?" And they go, "Yeah, they want you to settle their case instead of go to trial." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm available this day, and let's do it." And then we settled it.
Wow.
But the reason why is it goes back to the deaths of Dennis and Ashley Prince and Joe Houston. I can do better. I can help people stay out of my courtroom. I can help them settle cases, and I do, and I love it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's an amazing feeling to help people not be in court.
Yeah.
And they are so excited. They're ecstatic. They're bouncing off the walls when they've realized it's over. And I love providing that service to people, and it's meaningful to me. And so when you see someone love it so much, I think the parties and the lawyers engage even more.
You're kind of like the doctor that doesn't operate. The doctor that, a lot of doctors, you'll go in and they say, "Oh, you need surgery," and you got to go through this long, drawn-out process of surgery. Or you're kind of like the doctor that says, if you do a little therapy and you just start working out a little bit, and maybe you take the right vitamins or this or that, maybe you can avoid that surgery. And I think that the litigants that come before you have got to appreciate this instead of letting cases drag on. Because as you know, Judge, cases can go for years sometimes. And with our backlog that we have at our courts today, it gets worse and worse and worse as we continue to grow. I want to talk to you a little bit about your background and early bench experience. We're going to take a break. I think it's a good time to take a break. Mark's going to do the traffic. We got to find out how to get to work today and dodge around all this traffic because the Cowboys are in town right now.
Oh, boy.
And the streets are busy, as usual. This is The Middle Ground. I've got Judge Nadin Cutter here in the studio with us. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Looking to buy or sell luxury real estate in Las Vegas? Trust Chip Madsen, a top producing realtor with over 18 years of experience in the luxury home and commercial property markets. Known for his honesty, hard work, and success, Chip has built strong client relationships through attention to detail. As a Las Vegas resident since 1997, he understands the local market inside and out. Whether it's residential, industrial, land, office space, or retail, Chip has a proven record of handling it all. Partner with Chip at Is Luxury, the #1 luxury real estate team in the Las Vegas Valley, and experience unparalleled service. Contact Chip today at 702-420-3332 or visit isluxury.com/Chip Madsen to start your real estate journey. Trust Chip Madsen, 702-420-3332 or visit isluxury.com/Chip Madsen to start your real estate journey.
Attorneys Bradley Schrager and Daniel Bravo of the law firm Bravo Schrager LLP provide the highest standard of work on Nevada appeals. Bravo Schrager lawyers have long experience in the appellate process. They've argued dozens of appeals and writs in the Nevada Supreme Court and Court of Appeals over many years, and they produce clear, compelling, and persuasive legal briefs in support of your case. Bravo Schrager LLP knows the complex appeal process in Nevada inside and out. If your case is going on appeal, contact Bravo Schrager LLP at 702-996-1724 or visit bravoschrager.com. Bravo Schrager LLP knows the complex appeal process in Nevada inside and out. If your case is going on appeal, contact Bravo Schrager LLP at 702-996-1724 or visit bravoschrager.com. Attorneys Bradley Schrager and Daniel Bravo of the law firm Bravo Schrager LLP provide the highest standard of work on Nevada appeals. Bravo Schrager LLP, your Nevada law firm for appeals.
Ready to transform your body, boost your energy, and feel your best? Welcome to OC Body Fit at Tivoli Village. We offer personalized training for all ages and fitness levels, perfect for beginners, injury recovery, or pushing toward your next big goal. Our expert trainers focus on you with customized plans and proper techniques. Enjoy small group classes that bring the motivation of a community with the personal attention you need. Don't wait. Start your journey to a stronger, healthier you today. Call or text 702-978-8263 to book your free consultation now. OC Body Fit, your ultimate fitness destination.
Gold and silver are at record high prices. Las Vegas Jewelry and Coin Buyers pays cash for gold jewelry, gold and silver coins, sterling flatware, and fine watches. Take advantage of the gold and silver high prices at Las Vegas Jewelry and Coin Buyers. 1405 West Sunset at Stephanie Street in Henderson. 702-547-1670. That's 702-547-1670. Or online at topvegasbuyer.com. That's topvegasbuyer.com. Las Vegas Jewelry and Coin Buyers. 1405 West Sunset at Stephanie Street.
He's the man behind the message, the strategist with 54 years of unstoppable success. From mayoral races to national headlines, he delivers. Tom Letizia, the maestro of media. The name behind 10,000 commercials, $1 billion in ad spend, and a legacy of political wins. Need to win hearts, shift public opinion, or manage a crisis? Visit LetitiaAgency.com, where your message meets its moment.
KMCQ on-time traffic. It's powered by Meineke Car Care Centers. Right now, you can get an oil change for only $34.95. Meineke, doing car care right.
I'll slow it southwest on the belt. From 215 northbound at Trop. Is going to be found on 215 southbound near Russell Road. Again, 215 northbound at Trop on the right shoulder. Still have Tropicana itself closed down in front of the Orleans. Had an accident overnight involving a pedestrian. So Trop shut down both ways near Wind Road. And a new injury accident nearby a couple blocks away on Spring Mountain eastbound before Arville. Sunny skies, light breezes, and a little bit warmer today compared with yesterday. We'll close in on 70 degrees by Sunday, but for today, just over 60. It's 48 degrees right now. I'm Mark Thomas with your on-time traffic, brought to you by Meineke Car Care Centers on AM 670 KMZQ.
Why don't you just meet me in the middle? Yeah, that's where we are right now, right here on the Middle Ground Radio Show on this Friday morning, and we're talking to Judge Nadin Cutter about our family courts. She's here in the studio with us. She's one of the most respected jurists, and she's known for her strong command of the law and her deep commitment to the well-being of children and families. Judge Cutter, thanks for being here with us this morning. I wanted to ask you a little bit. You've taken on a a new responsibility, doing mock trials for high school kids. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's a great question. Thank you, Tom. The reason why I became a lawyer is because of mock trial. I pulled a roll out of a hat of a lawyer when I was 12 years old, and I got the chance to do mock trial at the University of Denver in the summertime between the school year. And mock trial changed my life. Mock trial made me change my path from wanting to be a pediatric surgeon to becoming an attorney. And really, until I got to that point, it was just all noise because I really wanted to be an attorney. And so because that changed my life so much, I wanted to give to the kids and help with their futures as much as I can. And so I picked a high school called Desert Pines High School to do mock trial. And 11th graders came to my classroom, and we did a whole mock trial experience. And there were some amazing kids in that mock trial. And we talked about, what they want to be when they grow up. They shared with me what they wanted to be. There's definitely going to be some lawyers that come out of that mock trial class.
Wow.
And they had an amazing time, and they got to learn a little bit more about cross-examination, direct examination, and cross is just about the funnest thing you can do as a lawyer. So we had a lot of fun with that specific thing.
And you're doing this now? It's actually taking place now?
I did one in May of this year, and it was amazing. It was wonderful. And a lot of folks, District Attorney Steve Wolfson came and talked about his career. There were, different folks in the courtroom that support my department that talked about what they do, why they love it. Different judges came down to talk about their experiences, and we tried to provide like a little career day plus mock trial, and it was a blast.
Well, you're right. Somewhere along the line, some young boy or girl is going to become a lawyer, perhaps, and maybe even a judge someday because of that experience. So you're going to leave a lasting impression on somebody without a doubt. Let's talk just a little bit about your judicial philosophy. Russell, did you have another question?
Judge Cutter, how would you describe your judicial philosophy in one sentence?
Trying to help litigants meet in the middle.
There you go. And that's really what it's all about, coming to an agreement by both sides, maybe give it up a little bit, but that's how you resolve cases, is going into the middle, and that's what a lot of people just don't do this way. How do you keep your courtroom organized, efficient, and respectful?
I have a wonderful staff, a wonderful JEA named Mimi, 2 court clerks named Jocelyn and Karen, a wonderful Marshall Nunez, and they really keep the courtroom in order. Everybody does their part. We have a new law clerk. He's wonderful. His name is William as well. And so the reason why the courtroom runs smoothly is because we require it to run smoothly. And everybody does their part. And we have a really great group.
And, again, there's so much tension in family court. Is it what you thought it would be when you ran for office in 2020? Has your vision changed of the court since you were elected, and now you've had 5 years on the bench?
I can tell you, because I practiced in family court, I knew what I was walking into, so I wasn't surprised necessarily in the job or how it worked out, because I was before all of the judges as a family court practitioner before taking the job, which I think is valuable. But the thing that surprised me is the amount of methamphetamine use that we see. And when I have a case where there's, a custody component and a parent is on meth, we take those cases very seriously, and we make sure that kids remain safe at all times.
And you're seeing more of this now?
I was just surprised at how much more there was.
Yeah.
Because, as an attorney, you're hired by folks that can afford an attorney.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of pro bono cases as well. But, I didn't see as much of the meth use in private practice.
Right.
And then as a judge, it's surprising that there's so much out there.
Yeah, but you've practiced in several different facets of the law. What drew you to family law?
Children.
The children.
Absolutely. I love helping kids.
Yeah.
But I've loved helping kids since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I tutored kids. I babysat. I love teaching kids. That's why I'm doing mock trial. I I've always enjoyed that. And helping keep kids safe, I think, is an honorable and amazing thing that I'm able to do. And I find a lot of pride in doing that.
You know, a lot of the kids, they don't have a voice in the court. They're maybe 5 years old, and they're sitting there probably with their parents, right, during this hearing.
They're not in court usually.
They don't come to court.
No.
Okay, so you don't see the kids that often.
Extremely rarely.
Okay. Because it's got to be a confusing time for the children when mom and dad are fighting and they're not getting along. And it's got to be an emotional moment at the highest level, and you're seeing it every day, I would imagine, in your courtroom. How do you stay balanced? I mean, and I ask this of a lot of the judges, because you got to maintain your composure. You can't get wrapped up too heavily and too emotionally. You've got to kind of call balls and strikes as the judge. You got to kind of watch the law, not only kind of watch it. You got to watch the law. There's no in between for you. How do you deal with the emotional side, but then following the law?
That's a great question, and I have some background. I read every single piece of paper that's filed in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody files 80 pages of text messages, I'm the weird one that reads every single one.
You should, though.
I enjoy it, and
Right.
it provides such a better understanding of what the arguments actually are and what they're about. Because what is translated in a motion or an opposition is usually different than what is actually in the text message communications between the parents. So here's what I do. I bring up those text messages and I go, yeah, when you filed this document on this day, on this page, you said these, set of nasty things. And then you over there, you said these sets of nasty things. And I say it, and I say it out loud. And then I sit them down and I go, how you treat one another is how, little Johnny or Jane is going to treat people in the future. And how you treat mommy or you treat daddy, your child is going to take that same, data that they saw that was inputted into their little brains and copy it. Because kids copy their parents.
Yeah.
Usually when I say that, especially in a high conflict case, I'll get tears from someone and they're like, you're right. We got to stop fighting. We got to stop doing this. We have to treat each other with respect, because you can issue orders until you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
Until parents get it.
Yeah.
And get the impact on their babies, they're going to keep fighting. And so I try to bring it down to reality. And once you say things like that, it has meaning. It has real power behind it.
Well, I want to thank you for your service, because you're indeed doing God's work when you sit on the bench and you work. Your whole life is dedicated to resolving cases and to making people's lives better. And I want to compliment you for that, Judge Cutter, and thank you for your service. Okay, now we're going to do a lightning round now, okay? You know what our lightning round is?
I don't.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you're going to be surprised, because this is real quick, rapid-fire questions, and you got to give me quick, rapid-fire answers. Okay?
I'm in.
All right, let's go. One word that describes your judicial style.
Strong.
Long trial or heavy motions calendar. Which is tougher?
Heavy motions.
Early riser or night owl?
Night owl.
Custody cases or support cases? Which require more patience?
Custody.
The first thing you do to prepare for a difficult hearing?
Breathe.
Most underrated skill a judge needs?
Negotiation.
Coffee order.
Coffee order?
When you go to Starbucks. Macchiato,
Iced
whatever.
grande matcha green tea latte with almond milk and pumpkin foam on top with no sugar inside.
Oh, my goodness. And somebody's supposed to remember all of that when you place that order?
I bring a sign. Just kidding.
You need to hand them a note so they can follow it. Favorite way to recharge on the weekend?
Yoga.
Most rewarding part of your job?
The smiles.
One word you want people to associate with your courtroom?
Patience.
I love it. Judge Cutter, Thank you for joining us this morning on The Middle Ground. Your insight and thoughtful approach shine through as our listeners have a much clearer understanding of the care and professionalism you bring to the bench every day. Have yourself a great weekend. Thanks for being with us. And again, thank you for your service.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our guest today, Judge Nadin Cutter. You all have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on